Hello and a very warm welcome to the Supplier Spotlight podcast. My name is Liam Ball. I'm your magical wedding host, also known as the Gentleman Magician. And as always, this podcast exists to shine a light on the very best people in the wedding industry, the suppliers who bring skill, personality and real atmosphere to a wedding day. Now, if you are enjoying these episodes, please do take a moment to like, follow, subscribe and share this podcast with people who you know who are planning a wedding day. It really will help people to get valuable information to plan their day and make it as good as it possibly can be. Now, today's guest is a live wedding musician, somebody who understands that music shapes emotion, feeling and atmosphere, from setting the tone during a ceremony to creating a relaxed, joyful moment during a drink reception onto full-bodied celebrations later in the day. They're known for versatility, warmth and presence. They also work across multiple formats, including bands, duos and other bespoke performance options, which really gives you plenty to think about when you're planning the music for your day. So it's a real pleasure to welcome to the Supplier Spotlight podcast, Aliki Edwards from Aliki Sings Entertainment. Hey Aliki, how's it going?
Hey, very good, Liam. Thank you very much for the excellent introduction.
Oh, you are very, very welcome. Absolutely fine. How's life finding you at the moment?
Yeah, quite good, quite good. Obviously, engagement season, and it's getting quite busy.
Yeah.
A few wedding fairs happening. So yeah, very busy building up, and yeah, enjoying it, enjoying the journey.
Yeah, it's great. And do you know what? It's funny you've said about the engagement season. I think this is something which many people outside of the wedding industry, in fact, probably almost everybody who's not in the industry, they don't know that there is a thing such as engagement season. It's a whole, it's like an annual ritual that happens, isn't it? Where just 75% of people who are going to get married get engaged during this period of time, which is quite fascinating. So yes, it's often all hands on deck in January, February and March when everybody else is wondering what they're going to do with the rest of the year.
Exactly. This is the build up. I never knew before getting into this.
No, it's not something you pick up. But I mean, of course, actually, it's funny. I mean, you did get into this. You're a musical genius. Looking at some of the things that you do, how did all that come about? How did music become part of your life, and how did that transition then into being a musician and a singer and an artist at weddings?
Oh gosh, how long have you got, Liam? I'm of a certain age, so yes, it's been a lot of journey. But yeah, I guess it started when I first saw some kids writing those funny symbols on the blackboard at school.
Oh, right.
Showed how old I was. I am, and I went back home and I said, Mum, I really must learn what these things are. I must learn music. So then off we went soon after, and we went to this music school because I'm from Greece, and you learn music in a conservatoire typically in Greece. So I went to the music school, and my dad being very practical, said, "Oh, learn how to play the guitar, Aliki, because then you can drag it with you and just strum it wherever you go." But I walked in there and I heard somebody playing behind closed doors. I couldn't see them. I could just hear them on the grand piano. They were playing Perelise or something like that.
Yeah.
And I said, "No, man, I don't care what what you're gonna do. This is what I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna be able to play that, and that's what I'm gonna do." So we came back, and I had enrolled myself in learning the piano. So my secret ambition growing up, even though I never dared to admit it to myself, was to be a pianist. I just wanted to be a piano teacher. That's all I wanted to be. And then as I was growing up, my parents sussed it out. That was my plan. And they said, "You know what? You're also good in science and it will pay you more money. And that's what you're going to do. Science."
Oh, okay.
In the meantime, I was singing in choirs and stuff like that, but singing wasn't my thing. It was piano.
Yeah.
So then eventually I came to the UK a long time ago to study. And I did chemistry at Bath Uni. And then I loved it so much, I stayed over and I did a PhD in chemistry.
Wow.
And then I got married and I had kids, and I've got 3. But after the second kid, he was about 1, I was like, I just couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't be without music anymore. So then I would say to myself, well, you're going back and forwards to work. What can you do? What can you do to get back into music? Because I didn't have time to pick up the piano. So I decided to join a music school and train my voice and practice, and also do some performances with them. And at the time I'm based in Wiltshire, so I was traveling all the way down to South Wiltshire near Southampton. And I did lessons and I loved it. And I was like, oh, when am I going to be good? When am I going to be good? And they said, yeah, you will, keep going, do your scales. So eventually I got good at it. And then they said, okay, what you going to do with this, Aliki? So I was like, oh, I don't know. I was just doing it for fun. So they said, oh, perhaps you should join a band. And this is how the bug got in, really.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't, my son now is 17, so I've been doing this for 16 years now, the same
Right.
part.
So let me just get that right then. So obviously from a I'm guessing a traditional Greek family, educated while you were told, and much as I was as a youngster, don't be ridiculous, go and get a real job.
Which have hairs and take drugs.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah. So but Dr. Aliki Edwards, that's right, yes.
They're correct.
Okay, wow. So and then you've kind of sidelined a life in academia to exercise your artistic muscles as a musician and singer. That's quite a transition.
Yeah, I had quite a long career in pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And I say I had because up until recently I was working in pharmaceuticals. But I guess as you're getting older, you reconsider what you're doing with your life and what opportunities there are and what is more meaningful.
And what's important, yeah.
Exactly. And I decided to say thanks. I've learned a lot, but I'm going to try something different for a while. See how that goes.
That is
so.
That, do you know what? Wholeheartedly, I applaud you. That is absolutely fantastic because I mean I've done a similar thing. But recently I'm 45, so how recent? But it's yeah, I get it. And it's scary, isn't it? Moving from that consummate, that as long as you turn up and write your name on the line, you're going to get paid, to suddenly putting your hands or your life in the hands of people and saying to them, hey, I'm great at this thing. Please book me so I can do it at your...
Without sounding needy and desperate. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And of course, the other thing that then happens is that you get to a stage where you think to yourself, actually, I'm not desperate anymore because everything is working, that the jobs are coming in and I'm living my best life and I'm going out and doing the thing that I love to do and everything feels balanced. So performing wasn't always the plan, was it?
No, I think it was always in me.
Yeah.
But it was almost, denied.
Get you.
Yeah.
So
and then but if you've got it, it comes to bite you on the backside sooner or later. You can't deny it. You can't.
You can't get away from the artistic bug. You absolutely can't. So when did weddings come into that equation?
It wasn't up until a couple of years ago where I was in a different band and I decided I wanted a change, and I left the band that I was in. And a good friend of mine messaged me and said, "Oh, does that mean you're free?" I said, "Well, at the moment I am free." And she said, we were going to start together a duo years ago, but then her daughter got pregnant and she ended up looking after the grandkids anyway. She had lots of excitement in her life back then. So we never did it. I did different things. I did a different duo, different bands in the meantime. So she messaged me. She said, "Do you fancy doing a duo together?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, I thought you never asked." So that's where Rhythm Sisters were born. Me and my good friend Wendy, we've known each other for over 10 years. Yeah. And we said, she has a band that she's in. She has a different duo that she's in. And we said, okay, doing pubs, clubs, festivals and all of that, yes, that's fine. But weddings, weddings and celebrations And special moments has something really incredible for me is about having a group of people who are there um, to have a good time. It's not the same as, people walk past and you just music and they look at you and say, oh yeah, well done, and then they move on. Um, when you're at a wedding, it's different. And for us, and for me especially, is creating those money can't buy moments.
Yeah.
And we've had a few, and once you get the first few, you think, oh my God, this is why I'm doing this for. And it's that moment, that special moment when you touch somebody in a way that nobody else has.
Yeah.
And I set out saying, this is what I want more for. This is what I'm finding fulfilling in life. And that's what I'm gonna do. And you can really do it in a special occasion like that, a special party, an anniversary, a wedding. Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, obviously, you've kind of touched on there that you work in different musical formats. So, bands, duos, like the Rhythm Sisters. I'm guessing there's probably a solo arm in there somewhere as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So, how do you find that flexibility works well for you, but also creates an important sort of choice and option for the couples that you work with?
Yes, absolutely. Because we're not an agency, but we can function as one because we've been in the industry for so long and we know so many musicians that the first thing I do really with couples is I try to find out what they want.
Yeah.
What is their vision for the day? So me, rather than just come and say, okay, this is my menu. You can buy this, or this.
Yeah.
These are
So
two 45-minute sets. This is, no, I don't work like that. I work in journeys. I work in experiences. I work in how long would you like me to be there for? How do you want the day to flow for you? And then I listen. I listen and I make loads of notes as I speak. I said, I'm not rude. I'm just writing everything you're saying down. Um, and then I can offer them not death by Excel spreadsheet, but a proposal which then matches very well exactly what I've heard them say.
So
So
a bespoke offering for each couple.
yeah, I have some basic couples, packages. I have some basic things on there, but for me, it's a gateway. We have the discussion, and then I can tailor the day. And then, of course, people have their own lives, and musicians are busy, so I need to be able to offer that. So I have different bands that I can pull on to. I have different musicians that I work with, so I can have that redundancy as such. Or if somebody's busy, somebody else can step up. And we have a core style and core songs that we really like to play. But the other thing I love doing for my couples, going back to the bespoke, is I don't say to them, well, these are the songs I do for ceremony, pick them, pick whatever you like. I let them tell me what is their favorite songs. And it's 5, 6 songs, 7 songs, depend. I will learn them. I will learn them and we'll do beautiful harmonies. And I will source the right tracks for them and things like that. So it's exactly what they want. And that's how I get to generate those money can't buy moments, because I look out for, have you got a special song that means something to you? And then I sing it to them. And then they can't stop crying.
Well, I mean, that's a really interesting thing, isn't it? Because you could listen to a song on the radio or on a download 1,000 times, but when you see it performed live, it could be the exact same song, beat for beat, note for note, the same piece of music, and yet it feels different.
You're so right. You're so right. Live vocals, they just bring, in my mind, and that's my humble opinion, of course it's biased, but it brings that extra depth to the sound.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's the color of the singer's voice as well. That adds to the whole feeling. I have a kind of like, let's say full kind of sound. That's my natural voice. And I think it lends itself for those kind of romantic ballads.
Yeah.
Those kind of songs. And we do a lot of soul, R&B kind of music. And again, our vocals really match that. And Wendy, my good friend, she has an ear for harmonies out of this world. I don't know how she does it. I keep saying to her every time we practice, I said, I don't know how you do this. It takes a lot of practice for me. Go away, think about it, focus, do it over and over and over and over in order to get it, in my head. Melodies isn't, but harmonies are hard. For her, no problem. Just like that.
Mm.
I don't
That's yeah. I mean, I think this is something that a lot of people again don't realize, right? Is that there are so many skills that get bought in to being any kind of live artist, but as a vocalist or a musician or a singer or somebody who does all of those things, there is so much that you're thinking about and working on when you're like controlling what the flow and the tone and the feel of your voice and blending out with the atmosphere as well, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes, of course. Because we do the whole day, you sing differently, and we have different equipment, different microphones, different setup, singing of an evening, now what you would do at the ceremony. So, or the drinks reception, we have more acoustic paired back tracks with not so much bass and drums, because you don't want that echoing in the church, for example, or in a hall. But of an evening is a different story. We have subwoofers, we have, lots of bigger speakers and things like that, to make sure that, the sound is full. Yeah, there is so much that you pick up over the years and you learn. And I'm one of those people that I've taught myself a lot. So I'm my own, I record my own music. I edit it. I record the bands on different channels, and I edit them. I direct our own videos, but I have trained my husband to take the shots that I want. He's my content creator. Yeah, and eventually, because everything is digital, really, I've taught him how to play the iPad really well, and he's my sound engineer as well.
Wow.
Yeah, he's my unpaid labor, bless him. Labor of love.
Can't say that. We can't say that. Of course, he takes a wage.
Of course he does pay, yes.
Of course, he gets paid. Yes, but I mean, it's yeah. So I mean, really, you've got so many different strings that you can pull on to make any moment in a day perfect, right? So how do you go about then deciding how you're going to adapt the performance that you're going to give to different crowds or different venues or different kinds of wedding day?
Yeah, I mean, it's an act, to be honest. And especially for the evening. Many times I've been, and I'm not naming names, but many times I've been to do's where, there's a DJ. I mean, oh, don't even start me about Spotify playlists. If anybody's listening to this, do not, I beg you, do not
Don't
put
do it.
on a
Don't do it.
Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
Because you might love Ed Sheeran, and I
Yeah.
do love Ed Sheeran, but he can't get you dancing in the, at the end of the day,
No.
like, the Killers would or something like that, or somebody else. There is a moment in time to do those kind of things. So, I guess there is an act to it, and I have been in other gigs, for example, where the DJ plays things and immediately the dance floor goes whoosh. And of course, as you put together the show, you want to, because it is a show ultimately, you build a set list as such, so it builds momentum. And in there, you do want to have some breaks every now and then where people can take a breather. But I love it when they decide they want to take a breather and the music is so good, they just drag their friend back on the stage, back on the dance floor. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I love that. There are many moments, that Wendy and I just look at each other and we know exactly what's going on. That's so much fun. But yes, we have had the experience to be able to build the momentum. And what we're doing also that we'll have to do is at the end of the day, we do a special signature. I don't think I will reveal it here, but we have some signature moments. We have some signature moments that we do as well, especially at the end of the evening. And during the performance, we're very interactive. Even on my own, I'm very interactive. We go out there with the people, dance with them. we basically have a great party along with whoever is doing it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's the difference, isn't it? That is, and you know, we kind of talked to Joe about it, but it's true. Live music with somebody who's either they've got a backing track and they're singing, or there's a duo, or there's a whole band. It plays such a different role to just music in a can, right? That you're just pressing play on, or you're selecting a playlist.
Yeah.
And how would you? I mean, if we were going to explain it in straightforward terms, what would you say the differences are to live music versus pre-recorded tracks?
Oh, that's a very interesting question that I'm asked many times, because people think, having the live instruments and having a live backline, it makes all the difference. But to me, I would say, yes, it adds. And I'll tell you what it adds: a lot of unpredictability. While the tracks will always play the same thing and you know exactly what's going on. When the more people you have, the more opportunity is for things to go off track, or something breaking down and things like that. It gets more difficult for organizing calendars, availability, and things like that. While with backing tracks, there is none of those problems. However, what I was going to say is that having the instruments at the back, it adds that depth, it adds those layers. So for people who like that, absolutely go for it. But for people who are perhaps a little bit more budget conscious, or they would like to save some pennies, what I say to my couples is that there is absolutely no difference in the fun that they will have and the experience they will see and the show they will experience, whether I'm singing backing tracks or whether people are playing behind me. Because the people that are playing behind you are not the front, are not the show, are not the interactive. They just play their instruments, and they do that very well. What you're getting with regards to the interaction is if I'm singing with Wendy, or even if I'm singing on my own, we do we have a few key songs that we know exactly what we're doing and what we're gonna say, and it looks really natural. We have a bit of banter going on, and it looks really natural. And even if I don't have her and I'm on my own, I still find some volunteers. I still find people who are keen and eager. There's always the odd person who's keen and eager to join you on the dance floor, and we have a well over time. Yeah. So with regards to the difference between backing tracks or full band, I would say it's the added depth that the instruments add. Absolutely, but there's no difference in the amount of fun and the experience. So I wouldn't say definitely one or the other. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it.
Of course, yeah. I mean, you've touched on something else there as well, and that's about interaction and connection with guests and people in a venue, right? How important is that, do you think?
Very important. Absolutely, the most important thing, and that's what we're basing the brand on, because the Aliki Sings Entertainment, is all about the feeling. It's about the chemistry. Excuse the pun.
Yeah.
It's about the chemistry, because without it, again, it's a bit of a Spotify playlist. You can have the music playing and somebody can perform a song absolutely perfectly, note perfect.
Yeah.
But it's the emotion, is this moment, is when people, especially in the dance floor, they respond back to you. They sing to you.
Yeah.
The guests, they sing back to you, and then you can have that connection and you can have that interaction and convey that emotion. There was a great story, actually. One of the key moments I remember that happened, and I thought, oh my God, this is why I'm doing this for. So this lady, oh yes, I forgot to say, we also do a special, what we call an ABBA burst.
Okay.
Where Wendy and I are the ABBA girls. We haven't got the boys, really. Can't convince men to play ABBA for some reason.
I think it's those tight, shiny suits, isn't it?
I think so. Anyway, we love ABBA, and with Mamma Mia, a lot of the couples love ABBA as well, and older, younger couples, they all love ABBA. So we do a little ABBA burst. So we were booked to do an ABBA birthday party. And when we walked into the venue, it was a big garden party, beautiful festival kind of feel. They had bars, mobile bars. They had gone all the way to make us feel comfortable. That we had a stage on there, and we walked in there, and they were already wearing the sequins. And we set up, did the rehearsal, the sound check, and they were dancing already. And we said, "Oh, really? Sorry, that was just a sound check. You know, we're coming back in 5 minutes."
Wow.
Anyway, this lady had asked us to learn a special song, which was "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen.
Yeah.
And so we knew that song, we learned it. And they said, "Before you perform it," I said, "When are you going to do this?" I said, "Oh, we planned it for you towards the end because we knew it's a special song." "Oh, perfect," she said. "Before you do it, stop, because I'd like to say a few words."
Okay.
And so we did. And we called her to the stage, got our mic, and she started saying about her late husband that passed away and how she didn't want to have a party, but it was her daughter's 30th. And she thought, you know, when we had a party, he was always the life and soul of the party. He would have loved to have a party. And among a lot of other things that she said, "And this is his song. And now the girls will perform this song." How do you follow up after that? So we did the song, and it went perfectly. It was beautiful, and everybody was dancing next to her, hugging her. She was in tears, she was in bits. We finished the song, everybody was like in the moment. We jumped off the stage, gave her those big hugs. And I just couldn't stop and say, you know, out loud on the mic, you know, this is why we do this for those moments.
Yeah.
You know,
it's all about moments, isn't it?
And this is what it is. Exactly. For those moments, I do this for. And we're very warm as people, very welcoming, and we treat every couple as if it was our only couple.
Yeah.
And I think that shows.
I think it does. I think so many people get wrapped up in the fact that I run this business, and when I'm onboarding a new couple, I do this 1,000 times, and sometimes things like that can feel really impersonal. But of course, I think that getting, I think it's very different going with somebody who is artistic, right? Because they want to get to know you, and they want to make sure that everything works. So I mean, from a couple's perspective, if they think, you know what, we're going to call Aliki, we're gonna talk to her about booking her for a wedding, what kind of process are they likely to expect?
Yes, we're very, very simple. As I said, we work in journeys. So the first step really is just get in touch, and then what I typically recommend is that we jump in what I call a mapping call to figure out, you know, map out the scene, see what they like, what they don't like, and I have a few questions I ask them. So yes, there is a bit of a system going through behind that. But I find things like, you know, the vibes, obviously, what's the style that they want for, what is their favorite song, what artists they love. I even ask, you know, what kind of colors, color scheme, because we like to match, we like to blend in, and we like to be part of the, you know, the whole thing. If the bride has picked, I don't know, blush pink, we have loads of dresses, by the way. I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna do. My wardrobe gets bigger and bigger, bigger and bigger.
I have the same problem with my fiance.
I have so many dresses. Anyway, so yes, whatever color, I'm sure we have it, and if we don't have it, we'll get it. Yes. So after I listen really, and we discuss, and I really understand what they like, then I go away and put together a proposal for them. And usually it moves very quickly after that, because by the time they have reached out and they know who we are and what we offer, they've probably already made up their mind. So the process is very quick. I'm very responsive. There's nothing worse in my mind than being ghosted.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, because it just plays up in my head, and it's like, what's going on? Why don't they like me? Don't they want to talk to me? Are they too busy? What's going on? Yeah, I hate it. So I really don't like doing that to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it goes very quickly, and then provided that we have availability, obviously, which is one of the first things that I find out, their date and their venue. But even if they haven't got venue and they're very early on, I'm more than happy to just guide them through. And then if they're far away from making a decision, then they can have the information they need, and when they're ready, they can come back to me. But if they're ready to make a decision, then it usually moves very, very quickly. Yeah, and then once they pay the deposit as such, which I think we charge at the moment a 10% deposit, which is pretty low, really, considering the industry standard. Then the date is booked in the diary, and then we can talk about specifics like the songs they like. So then I can make sure I learn them in time, and I have the tracks for them, the flow of the day, and all of those kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how far in advance would you say that people need to start thinking about booking live entertainment like singers and bands?
Well, it used to be that people book 2 years in advance, but nowadays, I don't know if you're finding the same. It's a lot more last minute, and a lot more inquiries are coming in for still for 2026, and we are happy to, if the date is free, the date is free. So I'm happy to book it. Yeah. We just love the couples, really, that are looking for not just somebody to just play the same old songs that any other band or any other singer can do.
Yeah.
We are looking for couples who want the music to feel something.
Get you. Are there any tracks that when you're sort of meeting with a couple, you think to yourself, I really hope they ask me for X?
We have some favorites, yes.
Yeah.
If you go on our website, our hero reel is 1,000 Years. And that was another emotional moment, which nobody knows. Well, very few people know what happened on the day. But that's on our hero reel. And Wendy sings the lead, and I do the harmonies on that particular one. And we wanted to create some promotional material, and we had a friend's wedding that was happening. We were going to sing at the wedding, so we asked if we could go the day before, while the venue was all decorated, to shoot some content. But they were all on the site anyway, because it was like a 3-day wedding. So as soon as we set up in front of a beautiful arch, they all come in and say, "Oh, can we come and listen?" And they were there in their jeans, and we're having barbecue outside. I said, "Yeah, of course you can come and listen." So there comes, there was 2 lovely brides and their mums and their family and friends. And we started singing. And suddenly I look at Wendy, and it was so quick that my husband was doing all the content and the recordings, and he didn't manage to record that song. Anyway, I could see she was emotional, because it was her friend getting married. And I thought, oh. And then the second song we do was 1,000 Years. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm holding on. I'm doing this. In the meantime, behind the camera, what people don't see is the brides dancing in the background, cuddling each other, because that was the song that we were gonna, and the bride's mum, one of the bride's mums, she was in bits. She had like proper like that. And we were sitting at the front, trying to shoot content and look really professional, and like there was nothing going on.
Yeah.
And we go to the end of the song, and I'm thinking, yep, I did this. I'm thinking in my head. And I look at Wendy, and she does that kind of like a little, holds the note, and it goes a bit vibratory and warbly. And I go like, oh my God, I can't hold it. And I'm like looking away, trying to hold it in. And of course, she sees me. She realizes straight away what's going on. And she puts her hand at me, and I'm like, hold on. And then the song finishes beautifully. And then she says, and breathe. Oh my God. Anyway, I thought, what? I'm gonna put that in the reel, see what it does. And it went mental. People loved it.
Yeah.
So now we have a little joke every now and then. It says, I should poke your eyes out. Make sure you cry.
Oh, fabulous. But yeah, it does sound like you have. Yeah, does sound like you have a lot of fun with it. So, right, a little bit of general advice now for people. So there are people out there, they're listening to this, they're thinking, you know what? we definitely want some kind of live music at our wedding, and there's lots of points in the day that we could have it. Aside from call Aliki to discuss it, what kind of things should they be thinking about, and what sort of pitfalls or common mistakes should people be avoiding?
Yeah, I think a lot of the time is, I would say, and in my experience, music kind of sets the flow, and it kind of joins the moments of the wedding together. So what I would really say is, if you can afford it and you want to do that, is I would personally have music throughout. And there are certain moments you can have, like for example, your ceremony. You can use the music to welcome your guests as they're coming in, not just walking down the aisle. So it creates a beautiful atmosphere. You can imagine a church or a beautiful hall, or even the registry office. It resonates differently. So welcome your guests in. Then obviously the whole ceremony takes place, and having the vocals there, the live vocals, is absolutely amazing in my mind. But then, as they leave, as you exit, an upbeat song, which then kind of, say, we've done it, it's the joyful event, that kind of leads you next to the next section, which is really, you will go away, have your photos and things like that, and your guests will be gathering around, having drinks reception. And then again, it can be a little bit of a moment where people wonder, oh, what's going on, how can we fill the space? Well, again, you can have lots of different entertainment, and usually we see lots of different, I mean, you know that yourself. um but also, music is something which I think helps the day flow, helps the conversation, helps relax the atmosphere. So we do what we call a musical jukebox, where people can go and pick songs out of a pretty little suitcase that we have, and they can pick the songs, pick them on our board, and then we kind of play them for them, so they feel like they're doing something. And in the meantime, we can sing whatever else, there may be a request. Provided we have a backing track, we will sing it for them. Um, and then that kind of leads you into the wedding breakfast. And what I'm hearing more and more people want is not just to play a playlist for the wedding breakfast. They want to have the live vocals. And that is, again, beautiful, because it helps the flow, and we don't overpower the conversation. We just, we'll sit in a nice corner, make sure that we play some tunes which fit the moment. Um, uh, I'm forgetting someone. Yes, I'm forgetting the wedding breakfast entrance. That's another thing that we do, which obviously brings the flow, and you obviously know that about it. So that's another thing that we definitely do. So finishing off from the drinks reception, welcoming them into their wedding breakfast. You see more and more, um, napkins flying in the air, or some people, they don't want to be the absolute center of the attention. They want something a little bit more pared down and toned down. But we can do that for them, and then again, help with the transition. Have the wedding breakfast. We stop usually for the speeches and things like that, depending on how they want to do it. And then what we do is we kind of bring them into the evening celebration. Some people want to have a DJ, some people want to have a band. But up until that point, there are also a few more transition points. So what I would say, which is an excellent transition point, is that ABBA burst. So what typically would happen, I guess, in the evening, in the evening, they would cut the cake and have their first dance. So we will perform that first dance live. And one of the things that we do, I love doing personally, and I've done it for all my friends that got married, is I love to then pick a song that I know goes down well. It's a bit of a surprise gift to the bride and groom. I like picking a song where it's also a nice slow song, and invite everybody and their loved ones, other couples, to the dance floor. So there is no moment of, oh, we finished the first dance, full on banging disco. No, there is like another transition.
A nice transition into it, yeah.
Yes. So the couples then are surrounded by the loved ones. And then some people then choose to have the ABBA burst, which obviously gets everybody on their feet. singing Dancing Queen and Gimme, Gimme, Gimme. If people don't want that, then we go into, more of the party music. And again, we start with a banger, bring it down a little bit and give them the time to get accustomed, think about, oh, do I want to dance? Do I want to dance? And then pick it up again. And since we're, yeah.
So really, there are so many things that people can have on a wedding day. It's just about deciding whether you want full wall-to-wall live vocals or whether there's a particular moment in the day that means most to you. I think that makes sense. What are some of the most common errors that you find that people think about when they're booking a live musician or singer for their wedding day? Some like common misconceptions, if you will.
Yes. I mean, some of the questions I get is, I must have the band, for example. I must have a band.
Yeah.
But the band comes with a price because, everybody needs to get paid. They spend a lot of time fine-tuning their art and they have to be paid. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
So thinking that only with a live band you can have fun. Yeah. I think that's a common misconception. We are a party duo. We can be an acoustic duo, absolutely, but we're also a party duo. So, and because we are a party duo, the fun continues, whether you have a band or not. Some of the other misconceptions is about the flow of the music, I would say, and that's what I have seen is when if people want to insist to picking all their own songs. I mean, especially with a duo, we do have a massive list. We do over 200 songs that they can pick from. And if it's a duo, yes, we can give them the list. But what I do say is I ask for more songs because I know that they will pick what's favorite to them, but not necessarily what's going to flow.
What will work, yeah. I get
what will work.
So then you get to use some artistic interpretation there to make sure that it flows the right way.
Exactly, yeah. So they can customize it, absolutely. But if they insist, on playing songs that I know they're not going to necessarily work, if they really want it, they can have it. It's their wedding at the end of the day. But I'm there to advise them and say, perhaps the lyrics of this song don't exactly fit in for your exit song.
I get you.
It's not separation and divorce. Let's sing twice.
Yeah, maybe not. Right, last question then before we go, Aliki. What's your most favourite part of a wedding day to perform at?
Well, you're asking me a difficult question because there's so many good moments.
There are many great moments in a day and the emotion's different everywhere, isn't it? But if you had to pick one, what would it be?
Okay, you're going to make me now reveal my secret weapon.
Oh. I'm excited.
I know. Right, okay, so right at the end, provided, we're doing an evening thing, we like to give something special back, in a sense that I like to bring them back all together on the dance floor and have a special moment where we kind of, after all the encores and the mess has happened, and the drunkenness, just to bring it down back to the meaning of what the day is. So what we do at the end of the day is we get them together and hold hands. The relatives come around, they all hold hands, and we sing a little bit of a cappella, Stand By Me. And I don't know if you can remember the words, but they're so fitting, when the night has come, etc., etc., and then everybody stands by each other singing, in unison and us, hand up in the air, So for me, that epitomizes the whole thing, and it kind of finishes the evening really, really well, and it's a very lovely emotional touch.
And that's lovely. That's lovely. That's really nice. Wonderful. Well, listen, Aliki, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. Thank you so much for coming along. And one last thing, if people want to reach out to you, where can they find you on the World Wide Web and the social medias?
Yes, so our website has everything you ever need to find out about us. It's www.alikisings.com.
Yeah.
And then you can find us on Instagram, which is rhythm_sisters. And also on Facebook, Rhythm Sisters Duo. Yeah. Have I remembered everything? Yes, I think so.
Brilliant. That's great. Thank you so much, Aliki. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
And there you have it, folks. If you're planning a wedding and you want live music that feels personal, flexible, and full of warmth, I can wholeheartedly recommend Aliki and her Aliki Sings Entertainment Company. You can find her online, as she said, at alikisings.com and on Instagram at rhythm_sisters or Facebook at Rhythm Sisters Duo. Definitely worth a look and a listen if you are considering live music for your day. Once again, if you're enjoying listening to or watching these conversations, thank you so much for being here, and please do share them with anybody and everybody that you know who's getting married. It really does help couples make confident, informed choices about what they do on their wedding days. Until next time, folks, thank you so much, and remember, choose your suppliers wisely, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Supplier Spotlight podcast. Take care.